Hola. Bonjour. Hello. This is episode 19. We are back. I don't know if we're better than ever, but we are back. And it is Sunday, August 11th. 2 days from my mom's birthday. Or 2 days past my mom's birthday. Shout out to Pegzilla, Peggy. Turning 58 this year. Still kicking it and still doing good things. So shout out to my mother. Happy birthday. Her birthday was on August 9th. So shout out to her. What's up? We are back. I've been sitting here for a few minutes now. Trying to think about what I want to talk about today. There's a bunch of stuff going on in the internet and a bunch of things going on with the news and things like that. But yeah, what's been up this past week? What's been going on? Let's see. Last weekend we went. What did we do last weekend? Oh yeah, we went grocery shopping. Went grocery shopping, and then we went to Opal Creek, which is pretty close to the swimming hole we went to when Christy's family was in here, 3 pools. So Opal Creek is just a series of, you got to hike there, and it's this creek with clear water, bunch of little swimming holes you can swim in and do all those things with, and little rocks and stuff you can jump on. So you can hike along. It's like a 4 or 5 mile hike in. I guess it's if you want to go to Opal Pool, which is the hot spot. That's the destination. That's where you want to go, apparently. So we go to this Opal Creek, and last Monday, it was a nice day. Hung out by the water. I mean, this is just a creek in the forest with crystal clear water. There's swimming holes everywhere. End up hiking all the way to Opal Pool, which is part of the creek, but kind of fills up in this one area. It's nice and deep, and you can do some cliff jumping. And I haven't done cliff jumping, like seriously for sport, in probably, well, I'm 29. It's probably been 12 years. So I was a little nervous when we got there. I didn't realize that there was actually cliffs to jump off. So, but I saw some guy do it, some dude who was smoking a joint do it, and he jumped off this cliff into the pool. So anyway, so backtrack, you park, and then you have to hike 3.5-ish miles to get to this Opal Pool, which is part of the creek. All along the hike is the creek where you can stop. There's a bunch of little swimming holes and like creek activities going on. People laying out on rocks and dogs jumping in the water and stuff like that. But you hike and you get to this Opal Pool, and it's just, this nice, cool little water hole along the creek that's pretty deep, cliffs all around it, you can jump off. And I didn't have my measuring stick, but them cliffs were pretty high. I'd say 30 to 40 feet up, which doesn't sound very high, but it was a little high. Like I said, haven't done cliff jumping in a while. Pros and cons. What's the pro? You jump off of a cliff for a little bit. You get a little excitement. You land in water. Hopefully you don't get injured. The con is you break something on the way down. You drowned, and you're 4 miles from your car. So that's a long hike when you're dead in the water. So pros and cons, but like everything, if you see someone else do it, you are more likely to do it yourself. So like I said, I saw this dude do it. He jumped, he landed, he survived, and he wasn't in that good of shape either. So that's what it is. So I could do it. Not that I'm in good shape, but sunlight was going down. It was probably around 5 or 6. So it was getting a little dark. You couldn't really see how deep it was, but conventional wisdom would say that it was deep enough to jump if that dude just jumped. So long story short, did a couple jumps off the cliff. It was a lot of fun. Scary. as you jump. You definitely have time to think about your decision as you're jumping off a cliff into water. And hopefully you've done a little bit of cliff jumping in your life. But if you haven't, make sure you do it high enough where you can think about your decision as you're jumping in the water. Because as soon as your feet leave planet Earth and you're flying through the air without a parachute or any safety net except for water, you don't pee yourself a little bit, but you do get scared for a half a second, and then you brace for impact. And I did this cliff jump twice, and it was a lot of fun. My feet never touched the floor, and by floor I mean the bottom of the creek. It was very deep, very cold, lots of fun. And then Christy actually jumped too. I don't know what she was doing, but she was doing like this before she jumped, which was pretty funny. She probably would have jumped, but it helped that there's some kids there. Like there was this family that was like swimming in the hole, and like the kids were like, "Do it!" And then like they were all like leaving, and they were coming up to like the cliff spot, and they're like, "Yeah, go, go, go!" And like so she jumped, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, so did a little cliff jumping. So if you ever in town, you want to do a little cliff jumping, it's nice out. We got a spot for that now. A little bit of hiking, but a lot of fun just hanging out. Clear as water as it can be, and nature and all that good stuff. So a little bit of a hike, a little bit of a swim, a little bit of a jump, a little bit of everything in that day. A little bit of a beast to get out there too, because the last probably the last 6 miles of it is a gravel road. And this gravel road was probably made in the 20s because there's holes everywhere. So you can only go like 5 miles an hour while you're getting there. And so that last, you look at the GPS and it's like you're 5 miles away, but it still says 45 minutes away because it's that damn gravel road. So for sure, get those filled in if you can, government, if you're listening. If not, just know that it's going to be bumpy before you get there. So this episode is brought to you by Dutch Bros. Got a coffee today, so I'm going to be sipping on that. Yeah, the farmer's market's today too, so I'm about to go to that after this. And the farmer's market here is down the street, about a mile, and it's on Sundays, which is really nice because I have Sundays off. And it's just a local neighborhood Woodstock farmer's market. But it's got everything you need. You got fresh lemonade, bagels, got this bakery, salsa, produce, everything you want. So I'm excited about that. After I get done with this episode, I'll head down there and check it out. And then what else? Yeah, so that's about what we did last weekend. So last weekend we went to Opal Creek. So check that out if you haven't. A lot of fun. I think Christy posted some videos of doing the cliff jumps. Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. Oh, but yeah, I haven't done cliff jumps in I'm 29 now. It's probably 17 the last time I did it. So 12 years. And if you live in Iowa, where we lived, you can go cliff jumping in Nashua. I don't know if it's still there. Like I said, it's been over a decade. I think Bush was still in office when I was cliff jumping. I think so. But anyways, you can drive up to Nashua and there's a quarry. This is all speculation. Like I said, I haven't been there in 12 years. But there's a quarry, like a little park and like a quarry with a swimming hole. And they have cliffs you can jump off of. And we used to go in the summer, like between junior and senior year, or sophomore, junior year, junior, senior year. We get a group of guys, and we go to the Nashua Rock Quarry. Just load up in a van, drive down there, do some cliff jumping, act stupid, all the stuff you do when you're young. And it was a lot of fun. It was actually quite beautiful there. Just a calm little puddle, old rock quarry. With could swim around in it all day, jump off cliffs, do all that fun stuff. So that was the last time I went cliff jumping, and I went there quite a few times. I remember this one time though, I'm pretty sure the cliff was way higher, it was probably 50 or 60 feet, at the quarry. There's one spot, and sometimes the water was too low to jump. Sometimes it was fine. But yeah, one time we went with my buddies, and then like the sheriff came, and shout out to Clay. The sheriff came and was like, "Is there my buddy Clay? Is there Clay here? You know, we got a call from someone like." You ain't supposed to be out here. Like, you could break your neck out here. Your mom's worried, things like that. And that just reminded me of that because it was pretty funny because we're like, this was like right as cell phones were becoming popular in 2000. I mean, I guess they were more popular, but I don't know if we had service or like we didn't really have cell phones. But either way, his mom was trying to get a hold of him, and she couldn't. We were out jumping and playing in the water, doing cliff jumps and stuff, and up rolls the sheriff, and we're all like kind of scared that we're gonna get in trouble or something like that. But turns out his mom was just worried, and rightfully so, because man, as a parent now, I wouldn't want my kids doing cliff jumps. Like I talked about in the last episode, I'd be a little scared. I mean, I'm even scared to do it, so let my little kid do it. I mean, we weren't little at the time, but yeah, I could see how that would be a little scary. But yeah, it just made me think of that and all those fun times we had going to the quarry in Nashua. So if you have any Nashua quarry stories, get those quarry stories out there, and let me know if it's still there. I know I got a couple of friends who are from the area of Nashua. If you still go out there, let me know. Maybe we can check it out sometime back when we're back in town. It was a lot of fun there. So yeah, did some cliff jumping last weekend. Had a good week of work. This week coming up is my last week in Hillsboro, and then I'll be back, or I'll be switching jobs, leaving my current job, staying with the same company, but moving to a different facility. I've talked about this before, much closer. So this is the last week in Hillsboro. Last time I'm going to be having to commute long distances. It's very bittersweet because this is my first job. I do like the people I work with, but I'm ready for a change a little bit. I'm ready for less commute. So yeah, last week I'm gonna have that potluck, that end of an era potluck, and so yeah, I'm excited. I got one more week of work in Hillsboro, and then we're gonna be in that inner city doing that inner city sniff, skilled nursing facility. If you don't know what a skilled nursing facility is, because there's a lot of confusion out there, and to be honest, I didn't know when I when I got into school. I mean, I really didn't even know anything, to be honest. When I went back to OT school, when you don't know anything, and you're going into a profession where you're helping people, it's kind of scary. So most people. Let me just break it down for you here, because when, we probably have older families, grandparents, we have moms and dads aging, things like that, aunts and uncles, neighbors, card buddies. Everyone's getting older, no one's reversing yet, hopefully. And there's a lot of confusion if you're not around it. So, SNF, skilled nursing facility, old folks home, retirement home. I'm putting you in the home, Grandpa, or this is an old folks home. What else do people call it? Yeah. So we're all familiar that there's this big umbrella term of, when you're young and you go visit your grandparents and they're like in this apartment complex and, you don't know what it is really. Well, I'm going to break it down because it's a little important to know the difference. So, because it's kind of like a stage of life. It's kind of like a stage of living. So, and, I could totally butcher this because I don't know. I'm just a baby in the world. But, so where I work is called, it's a SNF. SNF, skilled nursing facility. And a skilled nursing facility is pretty much one step down from a hospital. So if someone gets injured or they have a stroke or they break a hip or things like that, they're old, they're fragile, they need rehab, they need nursing care, whether they have a wound or something like that. So that first stage is a skilled nursing facility. So they're in the hospital, and many people go from the hospital to home. If some people don't go from the hospital straight to home or back to their living arrangements, they may go to a skilled nursing facility where they receive rehab and nursing care. So, for example, where I work, we see a lot of people with hip replacements, joint replacements, stroke, changes in health, heart attacks, what else? Amputees, people that are just extremely deconditioned, that haven't been taking care of themselves, failure to thrive, some car accidents, drug stuff. So it's just people that were just in the hospital. They're not ready to go home, but they need some more work. They need to get that work in before they go home, because they can't just go home and be bedridden. So they come to a skilled nursing facility. So we're one step down from a hospital. So you have a family member, they break a hip, they have a stroke, they have a heart attack, something like that. They're in the hospital. They stay in the hospital for, depending on, if they qualify for inpatient rehab or acute rehab, things like that. They're in there for a certain time. They're not ready to go home, but they're ready to get kicked out of the hospital, so they come to the skilled nursing facility. That's where we're at the nursing facility. They'll have OT, PT, speech therapy if needed. They'll get rehab every day, depending on their insurance. Depending on their needs, the time may vary. So they get the nursing side of it, the medications, all those changes, IVs, anything like that, any wound care that they'll get as far as rehab. And there's just a nursing home, quote unquote, skilled nursing facility. Nursing home are different. So I'm going to try and break it down. So the skilled, they're getting skilled care. They're getting skilled nursing care. They're getting all the help they need as far as with toileting, showering, all that kind of stuff, trying to get them back on their feet to go home or the next level of care. So you got a rehab center or a skilled nursing facility. They get rehab, they get nursing. From there, people go home if they weren't at, and home may be home as we know it, back to your house, back to your apartment, back to your condo, wherever that may be, back with your family. Or home may be an independent living facility or assisted living facility or a group home or a foster home. And for the older generation too, I'm going to break these down. So a skilled nursing home is temporary, or skilled nursing facility where I work is mostly temporary, 10 to 14 days, sometimes longer depending on a person. So if you see your grandpa or your grandma in a skilled nursing home, just know that's going to be temporarily. They're going to be moving on to the next stage depending on their needs. So you can either go home, which we know a home is, home is a house, an apartment, a condo. If they go home from a skilled nursing facility, they may qualify for home health, which is home health, occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, come to your house and do therapy with you. While that sounds awesome and everything like that, you have to qualify it. You have to be considered homebound, which is you can't leave the house unless you're going to a doctor's appointment, church, a hair appointment, something like that. You can't just be going out to the casino, because if you can go out to the casino and gamble, then you can go to outpatient care. So they go home, maybe they get home health. And then next break off of that. So you have your skilled nursing facility, and then you have your independent living and assisted living. So independent living facilities are kind of what they sound like. You're considered, it's almost like a college dorm for old people. And so you live there, they make the meals most of the time. You might have a little kitchenette in your apartment, but it's usually older folks living in an area where it's a little less maintenance. It's like an apartment complex with a dining hall and activity center. It's kind of like a dorm. It's kind of like college, They have assistants if needed. They have, a nurse on staff. They might have exercise programs, those kind of things, activities, games, those kind of things. But Yeah, that's the independent living. They're expected to, do everything themselves for the most part. Laundry, keeping up their housework. I mean, sometimes they get, cleaning once a week or something like that, but for the most part, you're kind of on your own, except for like meals and those kind of things. So, if so if someone says, we're moving in independent living, just know that there's still quite a level of independence that they still have. They may take the option of having meals provided for them or make them in their room, depending on the place and what they have in the room, things like that. But they're expected to toilet and bathe and do all that stuff themselves. Like I said, it's kind of like an apartment with a dorm room, with cafeteria and activities. So that's independent living. Then you go a step down from that is assisted living. In assisted living, some rehab centers, skilled nursing facilities, have long-term care, which is similar to assisted living facilities. For example, at our building, we have some long-term care patients, which pretty much have everything assisted with, well, for the most part. So let's backtrack. We've got our skilled nursing facility, which is temporarily. You're going to be there temporarily. Then you got your independent living facility, which your folks move to. They live there. They do their own stuff. And then assisted living. So say you're at an independent living, you start declining, you need more help. You need more help with things, bathing, toileting, dressing, those kind of things, walking. You might transition down to an assisted living. So that's the next step down. And assisted living is pretty much independent living, but you need assistance. So they help you with bathing, dressing, toileting. They provide all the meals. They do all the kind of the housework. Most of the time, it's you may have a roommate. It's very similar to a skilled nursing facility in that they're doing everything for you, accommodating your needs for the most part. There is some level of independence that you get. So if you're able to get up and move around and, brush your teeth, toilet, those kind of things, they'll let you be as independent as possible. But they also recognize that you do have needs that require assistance or 24-hour supervision, those kind of things. So a lot of assisted living facilities may have a memory care unit, and that may be something different. So patients with dementia, those kind of things that require 24-hour supervision, or people with regular cognitive deficits or a higher level care of needs due to whatever, if they're immobile or, they can't even get out of bed to brush their teeth or get out of bed to use the toilet. That's where they would use the assisted living facility. So kind of just think about that. We got our skilled nursing facility, which is kind of temporary. Some skilled nursing facilities do have long-term care, which kind of is pretty much an assisted living. We've got the independent living, which is kind of where you want to be. If you start needing more help, then you go to assisted living. And then there's this also kind of something new to me when I moved to Oregon is a group home or foster homes. And these are actually quite popular here. We've had a lot of patients discharged to these. I've got one patient right now in particular who lives there. In a foster home or adult foster home or a group home, it's pretty much a big house. I'm in the area, and I've never been to one or anything like that, but from what I understand is a group home is a bunch of adults living together in a house. They have caregivers there that provide assistance, much like an assisted living facility, but it's just in a house. I believe it's usually pretty much not private pay. I'm not sure if their insurance covers it, but it's just, I got roommates now. We're all living in this house. We have caregivers there that manage our medications, that help us with our toileting, dressing, things like that. But you're in a house, a big old house. So there's actually one down the street, not too far away, a group foster home or a group home. So let me see what's going on outside. Some ladies letting her dog poop outside. Anyways, yeah, so next time you kind of are hanging out with your folks or your grand folks and you're like, oh, we're going to go visit them at the Springs or, at, Crestview Village or something like that. Maybe now you know what you're getting yourself into. Maybe ask, is this an independent living facility? Is it a skilled nursing facility, which would be temporarily? Is it the assisted living facility where they need a lot of help? Kind of. I know there's a lot of confusion with me growing up, having my grandma in different places, and when you're a kid you don't really know what is what. You're just like, oh dang, you're like in this apartment complex with all these old people, like, oh, you get meals provided, you don't have to do laundry or anything like that. But so yeah, you don't really know. It's just it kind of helps you conceptualize it, maybe help you kind of learn and think ahead about what you want for yourself or your family members, and kind of what kind of needs people need. If they need a lot of assistance, they might need to go to an assisted living facility. If they're able to do most everything, but it's nice to have, company around or help if needed, independent living would be the place to go. If they're not able to upkeep by themselves at, a house or an apartment like that, So yeah, I didn't really think about getting into breaking all that down, but I hope that helps a little bit to get you thinking about that kind of stuff. So I know there's confusion definitely with me before I got into the profession of, what are all these places? What's the difference between them? They all look the same, really. It's just older people walking around in the halls with with bad artwork on the walls and bad carpet. And they're just living in these little apartments. But, there's different levels to the game, as they say. And hopefully that was a little clarification on that. So what else? Oh, let's kind of break off on that. Let me get another lick of this Dutch Bros coffee. All right. So this week was a little irritating because we go to this gym. And you ever smell bullshit sometimes? Or like, someone's a little shady sometimes? Like you can, like your spidey senses go off and you're like, I don't trust this dude, or man, something's kind of fishy here. And yeah, that happened this week. So I go to this gym, and first off, Christy joined the gym, and then I joined the gym. And on the website it says family discount, 30% off. If your family member joins, we're engaged now, so we're technically family almost. So I joined with the intention of getting 30% off my membership, which is already, coming from Iowa, these memberships are double from what we haven't been experiencing. So they're a pretty penny, and they're a lot of money. So anyways, get to the gym. I sign up. This was a month or two ago. Excuse me. And the owner, it's like, can I get that discount? That family discount. I want that 30% because that's quite a bit of money that I can save. And said owner says to me, well, we like to offer that to families, blah, 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 that need it. He said something in the lines of, do you think like you could take 15%? Like, can you afford, 15% as opposed to the 30? And I was like, what, dude? Like, it says 30% on the website, give me the 30%. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, I was like, well, I'm doing okay. I could afford it. Yeah, I can afford it, but I would prefer to have the 30%. So I was like, whatever, man, yeah, just take the 15%, just take more money from me, just being kind of a pushover a little bit. So some time goes by, and, keep sniffing around, and a little bit of shadiness here and there, shadiness there and here. And so I'm like, man, screw this, man. I'm going to get my 30%. So I go up, I talk to him, I get my 30%. I'm like, I need that 30% discount. I need that full discount, bro. because I'm part of the family, because she's my family. And so I get my 30% discount, kind of awkward while I'm doing it. But then I kind of just I've been pitching these ideas to the gym, how we did things in Iowa and how they could, there's probably a clientele population for this thing that they could do, they should start this program or do something like this, maybe start a class like that. And this person is just really not receptive to anything. And from what I've heard, difficult to work with, difficult to even look at for me because, you can smell bullshit when you see it. And what else? Everything was just about money, and people like that, man, everything. I'm not going to say he was greedy, but he was definitely shady. And everything was about the bottom line, about the dollar, about, what can I get from you? What can you give me? What can I take? What can I take? What can I take? And in my mind, when I was at UNI, I had a couple classes with Don Briggs. And he gives this big speech at the end of the year about what he would tell his kids. And he never had kids. And he's an older guy. And he always said that we were his kids, that his students were his kids, or his wrestlers were his kids. So he had this huge list of things that he would tell his kids. And he told everyone the last day of class, I'm going to tell you this list. I don't have any kids, but I want you to know this is what I would tell my kids through my experiences in life. And it was this huge list. And I wish I still had it because it was good. There was a lot of good nuggets in there. But one thing I remember was that he said, always remember this, that givers attract givers, but they also attract takers. Takers attract no one. So givers attract givers, but they also attract takers, which is true. If you give, you're likely to receive. But if you give, people are going to take advantage of you. Takers attract no one. And the whole time I was talking with this dude, the owner, that's the only thing that ran through my mind was, oh, he's a taker. Oh, he just wants. Everything's about the bottom line, the dollar. Got to do this, got to do that. And even to the point where as soon as I got my discount, he said, I was talking about, you guys should do this class or that class. And he said something to the lines of, well, now that we have less money, I don't know if we can do it. Implying that my discount, which is offered on the website, is the reason now that they don't have enough money to do this or that. And it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And, I thought that, man, he's a taker, and I can smell that and I can sense that. And, that's not who I'm glad he's there for me to know exactly what I don't ever want to be is that. And, I don't want to say this. Yeah, I just got a really bad vibe about that. So just something to think about. Are you a taker or are you a giver? Because if you give, like they say, if you give, you shall receive. But you're also going to give away part of yourself, part of your time, part of your money even, and people are going to take it. But if you keep taking and you keep pushing and keep, asking for more, people, it's going to dry up eventually. And I don't have a crystal ball, but usually those type of things don't end well for people. So long story short, I thought about that a lot this week. And, some people are brought into your life, whether it's family members, whether it's friends, whether it's coaches, teachers, coworkers, and they're brought into your life to show you exactly what you don't want. And I do believe that. So, as much as I don't like my experience with that, I'm also happy that, for one, my bullshit meter is strong. I got a good sniffer on me, and it just kind of helps reinforce my idea of what I don't want to be. And I hope that I can keep giving, whether it be my time or my energy or my focus, especially in my career. Yeah, I don't want to be a taker. I think that's one valuable lesson that we learned this week. So just think about that in your life. You can either be a great example, or I'm not sure how the quote goes. You can either be a great example or a horrible example, or something like that. You can either show someone how to do it or show someone how not to do it. So either way you learn. So think about that next time you're with someone or you have a situation in life that you can learn from. You can either learn how to do it right, or you can learn what not to do. So, sorry, I'm bad with the quotes, but yeah, just it irked me a little bit. So we'll see. I'll keep you updated on that. But what else? Yeah, learn from everyone. Learn from the people that you don't want to be. Learn from their mistakes. I think that's the one thing, when I do have kids, is I've always tried to learn from other people's mistakes, but we get so stubborn sometimes that we want to do it, And I think if you can tell young kids, obviously you don't want to listen to everyone, but there's some people that, you can smell their bullshit, but there's other people that are genuine, drink that genuine. There's people that are genuine, and, if you can take their experiences, it's going to save you a lot of grief. So definitely learn from others, even though it's hard that you want to swallow the pill yourself. You want to be the one to make the mistakes. But, if you trust someone and, you love them and that they have your best interest in mind, take their advice and, skip the heartbreak, so to say. So what else? Yeah, that was just a little tangent I got on about that. It's just kind of irking me a little bit. I don't know why, but you think if you were an owner of a place, you would be a little more friendly and a little more welcoming, but you just get a closed off vibe with that guy. So what else? Yeah, this weekend, tonight, we're going camping. Gonna make some meals over the fire. I'm excited about that. Take Walter out, sleep in the tent under the stars, do all that good stuff. So I'm excited about that. We haven't been camping in a while. Both got the itch to do another backpacking trip. Really want to do Mount Hood again, even though we just did it not too long ago, but really want to try and do it in 2 days. We learned a lot from our first backpacking experience, how to pack, how to do everything. So like to do it again. Or another backpacking trip in the future. But I think that's all I got for you guys. So didn't really know where I was going to take this episode. But I figured out some things to talk about. So hopefully you learned a little thing about the difference between the levels of care as far as a skilled nursing facility, assisted living, independent living, group home, those kind of things. And hopefully made you think about whether or not you're a taker or a giver. Just be honest with yourself, and if you know who you are, maybe you can change it. If you're a taker, if you're a giver, keep on giving, keep on keeping on. But if you're a taker, try giving. So that's all I got for you guys today. Sorry about the audio. Last episode, I think I just was being dumb with it, but hopefully the audio is a lot better on this one. As always, guys, if you can like, subscribe, share it. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebooks, we're on YouTube's, iTunes, SoundCloud. Anything is possible. I was thinking about this week too. I want to do I want to print some shirts, like some nice soft ass tees with the Half the Story logo on the back, on the front, and maybe something cool on the back. So we'll see. That would be cool. I don't know yet. If anything, I would like it just for myself. But yeah, I'm gonna try to keep pumping these out, and get a little more prepared. But I like when I go off the cuff too. So, all right, guys, take it easy, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, I'm out. Peace.